I love it when they call me Big Papa, man. She was mad at me. She was like, "I'm not gonna tell these people they call you America's baby daddy." I was like, it's okay. I got 10 kids, and I do. My pullout game has been terrible for a long time. I kid you not. My oldest is 32 and my youngest is 3. Yeah, and my youngest is the gangster of the family. And, we love our family, but I don't love gangsters too much, man. But she's a gangster. She's one of them type of babies that, she's so cute. You want to kiss her all the time. She's got a little trick. The first time you kiss her, you go, mwah. She'll sneeze right in your mouth. She, I was like, I ain't never wanted to drop a baby before, but so I love my family, man, and I grew up in the worst neighborhood in Nashville. I grew up really, really poor, and so we were so poor that like we would race crackheads for money. You know what I mean? It's like it's like people be like, ah man, I give you $1 if you can beat Ray Ray, and it'd be like, oh, $1? I never could beat Ray Ray. Them crackheads is fast. Man, and they don't make crackheads like they used to, man. You could get your car washed, your grass cut for $5. Now you get cussed out for $5. They talking about inflation. You know what I mean? It's like crackheads talking about inflation is ridiculous. But yeah, man, I grew up really poor, and so what I ended up doing, I told my brother, I was like, man, when I grow up, I want to have an ice cream truck because I could never get anything off the ice cream truck. And so what I ended up doing is I had on my ice cream truck, half of the ice cream was basically for kids who didn't have any money, right? But the other half, I charged extra, especially the drug dealers. But I had to do something different because there's so many ice cream trucks in Nashville. Everybody had a gimmick. Some of them sold drugs. I was like, not me. It's like I look, I ain't full of myself, but I look too good to go to jail. You know what I mean? I got green eyes and freckles. I can only imagine being, somebody's new booty. You know what I mean? And my imagination kept me out of trouble because I went to one of those Scared Straight programs, and in my mind, I was gonna have Gollum from Lord of the Rings. You know what I'm saying? He'd be like, "Come here, my precious. Gollum likes your booty." It's like that's the last thing you want is to be somebody's, medieval booty. You know what I'm saying? But I had my ice cream truck, and my little gimmick was I had some 18s on my truck. But when I go through the white neighborhood, it'd be like doo 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 doo. And white folks, tell your kids not to run in front of ice cream trucks, because that's not how they stop. You know what I mean? I thought about it so many times because I feel like every time I stop, I enabled them. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I should bump them a little bit. But but when I go through the hood, my little gimmick was I turn it all the way up. And man, the first time it just kind of blew my mind, scared the heck out of me too. I was going through the hood, it was like, and all these thugs ran towards my truck, right? One of them dropped a gun and was like, give me everything. And I was like, what? And like, y'all trying to rob me? It's like, no, we're going to buy it for the kids. I was like, oh, cool, because I charge drug dealers extra, you know what I mean? But I had to check myself for a little bit because I peed a little bit. I didn't want to be known as the pissy popsicle, man. That would have been terrible. But I ended up getting out of the ice cream business because I had a little altercation, right? And so the altercation was this: like in the hood, people stay out real late. You know what I mean? Like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So in order for me to make some good money, I had to stay out late. And so one day I saw this guy just skipping across the street, and I was like, "Hey, little man, you need to take your butt home and tell your mom if she wanted anything, she got to come and get it herself. I'm not serving kids at 1 o'clock in the morning." And all of a sudden I heard, "F you and your truck." I was like, it was a midget. I was like, hey, man, you better watch your mouth before I kick your little bitty butt down the yellow brick road. And I don't know if it was the little bitty butt part, because, some of them had that little bit, you know what I'm talking about, the little bitty donk-a-donk. And so he took 2 big steps and spit on me, right? And I don't know if you've ever spit on a black person. I ain't trying to out anybody, but it's like the liquid form of the N-word. And so this little guy overcompensate for everything, I could tell, because this spit was the size of Kevin Hart. And it hit me, right? I was like, oh, no. And I lost my mind. Any man who gets spit on loses his mind. I lost my mind. I literally turned into a white woman. I was like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? It felt like hate, you know? But so I jumped out of my ice cream truck and I swung on the little guy, right? And when I swung on him, he ducked and hit me with a combination in my leg and almost in my groin, right? And I remembered right then, my cousin told me to watch out. It's some little nigglets out there robbing. Now, if y'all are not from the hood, people in the hood make up words all the time. So these little nigglets is not a little Negro. It's a night midget. You know what I mean? And a night midget hang out with drug dealers and gangsters. And as soon as I realized this was a niglet, you know what I'm saying, another one came from behind. So I'm like, I'm trying to dodge these blows and stuff. It looked like a little mini flash dance because another little niglet came, and when it's three or more, it's a gaggle, right? So I'm getting ganged by a gaggle of nigglets right now, and I'm doing all this. I'm trying to block and dodge, and I realized I'm a black belt. I'm a third-degree black belt, right? So I start kicking every little niglet around me, like one little, two little, three little nigglets, right? And I just kicked back like this high, and all I heard was my nookie. And it was a fidget. Guess what's what you call a female midget, right? Now I ain't never kicked a niglet in a nookie before, so I just picked her up and threw her at the other two and jumped in my ice cream truck. And I called my cousin because he was the one who warned me. I said, you won't believe what happened. Now, word travels fast in the hood, right? So he was like, well, I heard you had a little problem. So I just hung up in his face. And I had to tell somebody, so I called my grandmother. I was like, Mama, you won't believe what happened. So I told her. And she was like, well, baby, you know them little peoples have short tempers. Couldn't hang up in my grandma's face, though. But, man, you know, I got out of the ice cream business and became a firefighter. Any firefighters in the house? No firefighters in the house? Well, give it up to the fire department, though. Give it up to the fire department. Every time I see a firefighter, I'd be like, what's up, pimping? And they'd be like, what's up? Because, you know, firefighting is like pimping. We drag a lot of hoes, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I got out of firefighting because I was getting like crazy calls. The last call I got, a guy was stuck on a toilet. Ladies, you are correct. If a person's bottom is big enough to cover the circumference of the toilet, they will have to be extricated because it causes a vacuum. And this man ass was so big, he got stuck. And you talk about a hazmat situation. I had to pluck his ass off of this toilet, right? And you would have thought he had a civil rights movement because as soon as I broke that seal that he had, it was like, and he was like, free at last, free at last. That's my time, y'all. I'm Eugene Basham. Thank y'all for y'all time.
Your waist, please don't shoot up the place. Right. 'Cause I see some